Hi there. Today I'm going to share with you my first impressions of the Eyoyo 9-inch screen underwater fishing camera with a 360-degree panning system. Now, I've been using this for a couple days now, and I think it's a very innovative camera and it's a very affordable camera. However, I do believe it has some serious shortcomings. I think, with some minor modifications, this could become a really helpful and quality underwater fishing camera, but at this point right now I have some concerns about it. But again, I do think it's really innovative, so let's just jump right into it. So it retails for about $370 on Amazon right now, and in the interest of full disclosure, they did send it to me for a review for free. They didn't ask that they didn't say I had to give a positive review or anything. They said I could just give an honest review. I'm going to go over what's in this camera system to start with. I've used other Eyoyo cameras in the past, and I currently use a Markham Pursuit HD camera as well as my primary underwater fishing camera. Now, like all the Eyoyo fishing cameras, it comes in this little suitcase. It's rather bulky, which I would say is one of the shortcomings of all of their cameras. It's just they're really bulky and difficult to transport if you're looking at trying to minimize size and weight. That being said, it's still really easy to stash everything away in here that you need to, including the camera. They've got pre-cut foam areas to put the wire spools and everything you need. It comes with a 30-meter long cable that leads to the camera. It comes with a rechargeable lithium battery, and then it has the 9-inch screen. You kind of have to put everything together. That's pretty much how all the Eyoyo cameras work. They're very simple. They have everything labeled: video, camera, and power. And all you have to do is connect everything. It's all nicely labeled. They've done a great job here, which they hadn't been doing so much in the past, but now it's very easy just to put video to video and camera to camera. And then power goes to this little battery brick here. And then there's a little on button right here. It says on LED. You hit that and it turns the camera system on. And you can see already the camera is spinning. So it does this automatically. And on the remote, you can turn this off. You can go to manual, and that just stops it. And then I can control it myself in either direction I want it to go, which is kind of cool. You can see I'm turning it, and then I can turn it back. I can also control the speed at which it turns, as if there's a fast speed and there is a slow speed. You can see it changes really easily, and then you can turn it from auto to manual very easy and control it. Now it has 18 LEDs on there for using infrared when you get down at depths and in low light conditions. So to me, this is probably the most innovative part of this whole camera system, is this rotating camera, because with traditional camera systems up at the surface, you have to use something that rotates the camera for you, so that you can really precisely move it to where you want it to be on a particular target, usually the lures that you're fishing either under the ice or under a boat. I would say the vast majority of underwater camera systems are primarily used by ice anglers, not so much by boat anglers, but they are a really great scouting tool. Okay, so having used this for a couple days, I'm going to go over what I think are its strengths and what I think are its weaknesses. In terms of strengths, it's really nice having a big 9-inch screen. You can easily see it even if it's a little bit far away from you, and I really appreciate that. And I do think that this rotating camera system in here is really innovative and an interesting approach to solving the target acquisition issue. So, when I'm using the devices to turn my cameras on the surface, the holes will often freeze up or the cables get hyper twisted and they have a limited range of motion. This can continuously rotate 360 at any direction for as long as it needs to, which is really great. That being said, it is really heavy. This weighs probably almost 1.5 to 2 pounds, just the camera portion itself. It's a very thin wire, and I have concerns about its durability handling such a heavy camera system. For me, the major problems that I've had have been this little battery pack here. You see how tiny this is? This is very small for a 9-inch system. I think about using 9-inch fish finder screens on my kayaks and whatnot, and I'm burning well over an amp per hour running a 9-inch screen here. Here I'm running a 9-inch screen which has DVR capabilities, which I really appreciate. You can record everything that's on your screen. Unfortunately, they're still using AVI format, not MP4. I don't know why they can't have it code into an MP4 or .mov, but that is what it is. You have to download a VLC player, and then you can view it on there, or you can then export it into a different format if you need to from VLC. It would be a lot more useful to everybody if they could have it in .mp4, but that is what it is. I did on the first day I ran it. It only ran for about 4 hours. It was a little bit short of 4 hours, and I was using the LEDs, I was using the DVR, and it just chewed through that battery really fast. And 4 hours, you know, if you're somebody only spends a few hours when you go out and do your ice fishing, then maybe it's enough, or you're only using this to scout habitat. But if you want to use it the whole time, you're either going to need to get a separate battery system, or you're going to need to find some way to recharge the battery system. So I do feel like they really shortchanged this camera on the battery end of it. It's probably not too hard to work around that and get a bigger battery system, but I feel like they need to put a bigger battery in here. I do appreciate having a 30-meter cable, because it's really nice to get down to those depths where, say, if you're fishing lake trout or burbot and they are deep, this is going to get you down to those depths. However, I have to say that you know, I've used other yo-yo cameras in the past, and like I said, I'm using a Markham Pursuit HD, which that records in 1080. It's a high definition camera. The camera quality on this camera is, I would say, fair to poor. Other yo-yo cameras that I've used actually had pretty decent image resolution, especially on the screen. In this one, it's not that great. It's very fuzzy. It seems like it's not as sharp and in focus. And I don't know if that's an artifact of the camera itself or of the housing that it's in. It's just not delivering that crisp image that I'm used to seeing. You know, a lot of underwater cameras, or cameras built for underwater purposes, have a flat glass screen, and this one's rounded because of the nature of the housing it's in. I don't know if that's the cause, but one thing I did notice when I went home and I exported the videos off of this, I put them on the screen, they're much wider in reality than what you see on this screen here. So I think they're cropping the image a little bit, and it's not a high definition image to begin with. They're cropping it a little bit to make it fit on this 9-inch screen. And when I get home, it's more like this wide screen. It's like almost like a 16 by 10. It's very, very wide, which I'll show you here, which I'll overlay here. You can see I'm sort of cropping it to what they actually have on the screen here versus what the actual video output is. So I don't know why they didn't just go with a wider screen with black bands on the top and bottom here to maybe give you a little bit sharper image. But I do feel like the image quality is just not that great. I was using it in pretty clear water. Here's some video of brook trout and tiger trout coming up in just 5 foot of water. It's cloudy ice, I'll give you that. It's not bright, clear ice. There's not a ton of light penetration, but I'm only 5 feet below the ice. There's almost no suspended sediment in this lake, and it's really hard to see the fish clearly and see the target clearly. It's a bit fuzzy. Another issue I had was the target acquisition. So it has those 2 speeds on the camera, so you know, I can speed it up and it goes really fast. That's almost too fast. Like, you can blow past your little jigs and stuff so quickly you can't see them. And I think they just need to have just the slow setting on here. And the hard part is once you put your camera down there and you start using this remote, there's no indication what speed you're actually at when it's rotating. So if you're in an open water column and there's no frame of reference, the camera could be spinning really fast or slow. You can't tell the difference because there's no indication on the remote as to what speed you're actually at. Also, there's no indication what directionality you set it at, and there's no indication as to whether you're on auto rotate or manual rotate. So with no frame of reference, I couldn't tell if the camera's rotating or not. And so I would just sit here and just kept randomly pushing buttons trying to find my lure. I know I was at the right depth because I was using my sonar, but I simply just couldn't tell. So they really need to work on this remote here. They needed to have it so that when you press auto, it's letting you know that you're in auto mode or in manual mode. So they really need to improve upon the remote. They need to let you know whether or not you're rotating auto or on manual, whether your speed is high or low. In fact, I would think they should just get rid of the high speed. And left and right directionality needs to be like highlighted when you're rotating in that direction. And so I really struggled. Again, even with LED, I couldn't tell unless there was, it was dark enough for me to see the reflection. So I might have been running my LEDs, burning my battery unnecessarily. So I think it's a nice first stab, but they need to do a serious revisit on the camera itself. I'm gonna keep using this camera over the ice season. I mean, there are things, like I said, I do like about it. And if I was fishing closer to the bottom, I think it would help me in terms of orienting, what the camera is actually doing down there rather than trying to just guess. But I don't tend to fish really tight to the bottom until later in the season when the perch go deep. Most of the time when I'm trout fishing, I'm fishing suspended in the water column over weed beds, where I generally can't see any structure or the bottom at all, and so I have almost no frame of reference. But like I said, I'm going to keep trying it. I do like that it can get me down to those depths that my other cameras cannot at the moment. And I do think it's really innovative with this. I think if they could lighten up this camera housing a little bit, and if they could improve the image quality coming out of here, and a slightly larger battery, which could probably be overcome with a modest investment on your own end, I feel like you could get a really quality product out of this. But for now, I do feel like it has some shortcomings. I'll put links to this camera down below if you want to check it out yourself. And yeah, I'll let you know how the season goes. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments section below. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Just remember, fish smarter, not harder.